turns out, is not all that interested in success. He is not impressed by growing revenues, increased church attendance, the size of your income, or the title on your business card. God is looking for leaders after His own heart. Winsome leaders who will submit to His leading and trust Him for the outcomes. A leader's character matters more to God. Right now you might be thinking, easy for you to say, you don't know what I face every day at work. It's perform or perish. I work in a dog-eat-dog environment. It's a brutal workplace culture. If you don't perform, you're out, and you might even be out when you do perform if you get on the wrong side of the workplace politics. On Sunday at church, I hear about putting on the full armor of God. But on Monday, if I want to make it through the week, I need to put on the full armor of the world, because work sometimes feels like combat. If that's what you're facing in your job, I totally understand. Because I worked in just those kind of tough, secular environments for almost 25 years. I've had some horrible bosses, worked in some toxic cultures, and have even been fired twice. But through all of it, I learned that my Christian faith was not a liability, it was an asset. In the midst of all the stress and pressure, I discovered that when we truly take God with us to work, He will use us for His purposes. Mother Teresa, who was sainted by the Catholic Church for her lifelong dedication to the poor in India, once made a profound statement that thoroughly shatters our secular notions of success. Senator Mark Hatfield was visiting her in Calcutta and watching as she moved among the beds of the sick and the dying. The senator was struck by the sheer size of the needs compared to the resources she had available. "Mother," he asked, "don't you get awfully discouraged when you see the magnitude of the poverty and realize how little you can really do?" In a respectful way, he was really asking her if she felt like she was failing in the face of those overwhelming odds. She answered him with this: "My dear Senator, God did not call me to be successful. He called me to be faithful." Wow. In just 14 words, Mother Teresa flipped our success paradigm upside down. God calls us to be faithful, not successful. You see, we tend to put the highest value on the outcomes of our work, but God values our motives more. We value the what of our work, but God values the why and the how. We prioritize the destination, but for God, it's all about the journey. We reward success, but God's bottom line is faithfulness. This single truth flies in the face of most of what we've been taught about leadership in books, seminars, universities, and our workplaces. I don't know about you, but I sometimes imagine what it will be like someday to stand before the Lord and to hear His assessment of my life. And despite my 3 CEO titles and decades of working in multiple organizations, I just can't imagine God saying to me, "Well done, good and faithful servant, for those 20 consecutive quarters of earnings growth," or, "Way to go, Rich, on becoming a CEO at the age of 33. You killed it." No, I don't think God will be impressed by those things. Hey, my wife isn't even impressed by those things. It's far more likely that God will speak to us about how we led and how we lived. How did we represent Him to those we worked with? How did we embody the truths and values of the kingdom of God in our lives? And how did we tangibly show His great love for people in our daily conduct? For most of my 20 years as president of World Vision, I had 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 20, stenciled on my office wall. "We are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making His appeal through us." This verse, more than any other, seemed to capture my role as a Christian leader. Jesus was calling me to be His ambassador, and ambassadors are called to embody the values, ideals, and character of the one they represent. I will make the case in these chapters that wherever you work or volunteer, in a school, a business, a church, a ministry, a nonprofit, in government, or in your home, you too are called first to be Christ's ambassador. God really is making His appeal through you. It's a humbling thought, isn't it? It doesn't matter whether you consider yourself a leader or not. You're Christ's ambassador. Your life is your witness, whether you are at work or at home. When people look at how you live your life, raise your children, spend your money, do your work, and treat others, what will they see? These things matter.